So I've talked about the upcoming free agent class quite a few times. I've talked about some of the star players like Chris Paul, as well as starters who may be a bit underrated, like Chris Paul's teammate JJ Redick. Today we're going to be talking about some diamonds in the rough, and I'm going to be highlighting a few guys, but there's a lot of names that I'm going to mention at the end. And we're going to start with Joe Ingles, who really emerged this season for the Utah Jazz as one of the best role players in the NBA. His three-point shot is legit. He's deceptively pretty okay defensively. His passing as well as his rebounding are strong for a guy who plays, 20 to 25 minutes a game. And he was a guy for Utah who was playing a lot of big minutes. And he knows exactly what he's good at. He knows what he's not good at. He is never going to be a huge negative for you on the floor. And as a result, he's a big positive. And with Gordon Hayward's contract as well as George Hill's coming up, maybe Utah would have to part with him if someone threw enough money at him to probably come off the bench. Next, we're going to talk about Deron Williams, who the Cavaliers acquired with 20 games left to go in the season or so. He's done a damn good job as being the playmaker that LeBron James wanted for them. At times, the ball is in his hands, and he's able to be oftentimes like a second ball handler for either LeBron or Kyrie Irving. And just having that one other guy who can run the offense a little bit has been really valuable for them. His shooting has been very good as well, though, and that efficiency makes me believe that someone could take him on to be a backup point guard, and he could definitely be good. I mean, the conversation of who's the best point guard in the league, Chris Paul or Deron Williams, that conversation is dead. But that does not mean that Deron cannot still be a decent enough player coming off the bench and taking over ball handling duties, as well as some off-ball stuff for a team. Speaking of point guards, Shaun Livingston. Similar to Utah, the Warriors are going to have to throw some money at Andre Iguodala, as well as Steph Curry. And maybe someone is just really looking for some stability at that backup point guard position, and they'd be able to give Livingston a little more than Golden State would really be willing to give him. And I mean, he's been a positive. He's been coming off the bench for them for 3 years now, and he knows how to make the right play. His mid-range jumper as well as scoring inside are pretty good. He's got the turnaround jumper from about 15 feet in case he gets caught up on a mismatch. Pretty okay defensively, and he's just done a great job in that 15 minutes per game that the Warriors have some guys from the starting unit on the bench, and I think Livingston could do the same thing. We remember he was really good with the Brooklyn Nets before he actually came to the Warriors anyway. Now we're going to talk about Jonathan Simmons of the San Antonio Spurs. The Spurs actually have quite a few contracts they're going to have to make decisions on. There is Simmons, who's one of them. There's Dwayne Dedmon. There's David Lee. I think Simmons could be interesting because, first and foremost, he's an athlete. If your team is having a fast break opportunity, then he can definitely jet down floor and be productive in that sort of an environment. He's also shown life as a defensive player. I think the biggest question with him is going to be his efficiency, because in his first season, he was knocking down his threes, and he was finishing pretty well. This year, his overall efficiency has taken a dip, and that's going to be the big question with him. But the athleticism as well as the defensive potential are still there, and I can expect someone to scoop him up for some cash. Another one of the Golden State Warriors, Ian Clark. I remember when they lost Leandro Barbosa, and a bunch of people were freaking out that their second unit was gonna take a big dip. I mean, Clark's basically what Barbosa was last year for them, shooting around 38% from three and fitting into Golden State style of everybody moving the ball around and just being a good outside shooter. Of course, shooting is a big thing in today's NBA, and I'm sure someone will be looking to improve their spacing, and Clark would be the perfect guy to do that. Now, do I think he can be a starting shooting guard? Probably not, because I don't know what his potential really is as a defender or a creator or anything like that. But he can come in, he can shoot, and if you can shoot in the NBA, you're always going to have a place. So the Warriors definitely have some questions with their bench this season. they all might not all be together. Now, I mentioned Dewayne Dedmon a moment ago. We're going to mention him here. He has a player option. I have to assume that he's going to decline it because he's the exact type of center that NBA teams just really want nowadays. He's an athlete. He's shown a lot of life as a defensive player. For whatever reason, Popovich doesn't play him as much as I would like him to. And maybe that's because he's really not much of an offensive player. But I do think that someone looking for rim protection as well as just some better inside defense could definitely use Dedmon and his abilities. And I could also picture him being someone who really emerges and perhaps surprises a few people if he's given more of a starter's role. We're going to head to the Miami Heat. James Johnson was always a guy who had a lot of potential. Teams, they saw his size, defensive abilities, and his athleticism, and they said, well, this guy can really be something, but he had to lose 30 pounds with the Miami Heat. Yes, 30 freaking pounds. And suddenly, stamina improved. He was able to stay on the floor longer, and he was also a really legit point forward for them. Kind of like a mini LeBron, someone who can barrel his way down inside, but he doesn't have those sort of offensive abilities to go off. But he can still be someone who's going to put up like 10 points, 3 or 4 rebounds, 4 or 5 assists a game, be a decent defensive player for you. And speaking of decent defensive players, JaMychal Green really helped the Memphis Grizzlies this season, as his athleticism as well as play style allowed them to kind of morph themselves into a more modern-day NBA team. And he's a power forward who can also shoot threes. And if you're a 4 who can play defense, shoot threes, and you're about to be, 27 years old, I'm pretty sure every team in the NBA is looking for that sort of player. So the Grizzlies are going to have to be ready to match maybe $10 to $15 million to keep JaMychal Green on the roster. And I mean, I don't know, maybe someone overpays just a little bit, and he ends up being a fantastic role player for them. We're going to go back to the Miami Heat now. I think Willie Reed, who is listed as a power forward, but if I'm not mistaken, a good chunk of his time was spent like playing the center position behind Hassan Whiteside. He was a decent part of Miami's huge run this year because he was just a decent enough big guy who didn't really kill them on either side of the floor. I could picture him kind of having like a similar thing to Jan Mahimi this previous season, where the Wizards gave him a whole lot of money, knowing that he would probably be like the backup and maybe the starter depending on Gortat's situation. Maybe Willie Reed has a similar thing go for him this upcoming season. I mean, any team that's looking for a backup big, you could use him. I mean, the Charlotte Hornets imploded the moment Cody Zeller got hurt, so they could probably use him. To the Phoenix Suns, Alan Williams was quietly one of the more surprising players in the NBA the last couple of months, I would say. Not a super tall dude, and as far as I know, he's not super athletic, but he's a strong dude. His finishing ability as well as rebounding and just awareness around the basket overall are pretty good. So maybe someone would pay for him to be like a sort of an energy guy off the bench. He does have a lot of potential as a rebounder. There was 1 month where he averaged like 10 boards a game while also putting up around 9 or 10 points. And the big guy who's not super talented but can always grab offensive rebounds and make energy plays, everybody could use that sort of guy. So there's just a few, but there's also a bunch of names I didn't actually talk about in this video. Some of those guys would be, for the point guards, Patty Mills, Darren Collison. Shooting guards, Thabo Sefolosha. Small forwards, PJ Tucker, Tony Snell, CJ Miles, Michael Beasley, Omri Caspi, Dante Cunningham, Luke Richard and Bahamute. Power forwards, Ersan Ilyasova, Taj Gibson. Centers, we have Kelly Olynyk, Nene, as well as JaVale McGee.